Straight Razor Shaves. So go on in and visit him down at the Strop and thank him for being a sponsor here on Tailgate Talk Nebraska.
And let him know that you heard about him here, so that he knows that being a sponsor actually got him some.
Well, we talked about it a little bit, gentlemen. The Tailgate Talk Bracket Challenge.
Yeah, let's pull that up. Who's all in charge right now? Is that Nicole girl still up front?
I think so.
She's got
Houston.
Florida.
She's got Florida.
There's one up there that's got Houston. I thought oh, she does have Florida.
Yeah.
Kurt was.
And that's Nicole Talbot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nicole Talbot. And she's got Florida playing Duke.
Yeah.
She got Florida playing Duke and Florida winning.
All 4 Final Four teams in there, I believe.
Now, Marcus Cross,
Yeah.
he's got Duke, and he's right behind her. And if Duke wins, I think he wins. That's your dad. That's your daddy, isn't it?
Stepdad.
Yeah. And his stepdad's running up third.
Yeah, but he picked Auburn.
He did. Auburn. I did now after I seen everything.
Jason's older.
Jason's older, still in the mix, but he picked Duke.
Yeah.
I don't know who this is. Let's see.
Kurt Agina.
Who?
Kurt Agina.
Kurt
Or Agina.
And he pulled in fifth. And he's still in a position to win because he picked Houston.
Yes,
if
he
Houston wins, that would put him right on top. I don't think Bates has a chance because there's 2 Dukes ahead of him. And so if Duke wins, he'd still probably be second or third.
Mm-hmm.
Duke, all the way down. There's
Yeah.
a lot of Duke. Houston.
You know, they're used to Quackenbush. Adam. Respect.
So since we're here,
So this is you, Braden's bracket.
yeah, so I'm at
You're running at 9.
900, and Brian's right behind me, and he's at 880. So that's
I'm
1780.
And we're at 860, 840.
plus 840 would be.
Come down to the wire.
Well, you know, our max thing is
So we're up by
1480.
we're up by 80 points. So the only chance you have is Florida winning it all. And it comes down to something out of
You guys
control.
have Florida in your
No.
national championship game.
No,
No,
I had St. John's.
So that's going to get me extra points.
I hate St. John's, I think. Yeah, so
Who did you have in the championship game?
I had Duke, Michigan State.
So if Florida beats Auburn, it's going to boost me up
Boost you up a little bit.
a little bit
Yep.
for you guys.
it's come down.
It's gonna come down the wire.
Well, even our maxes. I'm 1320. Derek's 1340. Brian is 1360. Braden's 1380. So I mean, we're all right. It's still a fight. See,
Yeah.
this is our group.
Right in the mix.
Right in the mix.
Well, as March Madness winds down to an end, another sport comes to a beginning. Major League Baseball opening day last week, and
Man, there's controversy. We have new bats. The
Torpedo
torpedo
Bats.
bats. And they set a home run festival going on.
9 home runs.
9 home
in-
runs.
in one game by the New York Yankees. And the thing is, they're not illegal.
No.
How are they not legal?
Major League Baseball has said they are legal.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Everything that
oh,
they
I thought you said they're
no, they're not illegal.
Yeah, they're
They've
not
been
illegal.
used.
Sure.
So everyone's gonna jump to those, right?
Well,
Everyone is.
Ayla De La Cruz started using one in his first game with it. He went 4 for 5 with 2 home runs.
Yes.
He's one of the most exciting players in baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean, they showed
it's
everything.
amazing.
They showed everything. It is theoretically almost the same dimension as the old bat. They're just bringing the weight from the butt end of it
In the city.
into the center
Yeah.
of where you want your weight at.
And giving more
A sweet spot.
space of a sweet spot than
Yeah.
what you normally would have.
Mhm.
But, you know, I hear a lot of people talk, and let's go back to the days of Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire, Perry Boss,
Sammy Sosa.
performance enhancing drugs, and they were always all over these guys about doing this. But it doesn't matter. You could take bodybuilders who are on these things in the gym all the time, give them a bat and go out there. They're not going to hit the ball.
No.
They're not going to hit the ball like that. You have to have that special ability of quickness with the bat, a good eye,
Yep.
and be able to get that bat to the ball at that correct time to hit like that. Now,
One thing about it, and Barry Bonds is very outspoken about this, and he's absolutely right. He was a good hitter before this
Yeah.
difference. He was a great hitter. He just hit more home runs. That's basically all it was. But really, you still got to put the bat on the ball. And they asked him here recently, could you hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball? He's like, yeah, I could hit it. That's not a problem. He's like, can I hit a home run? That's another story.
Mhm.
But at, 50-some years old, he's like, yeah, I could still hit it.
Yeah.
It's all putting the eye and the bat to the ball. That's what it is. And as a baseball lover, I love the new changes for the rule changes. It makes
the
games
pitch clock.
Yeah, the
Pitch clock.
clocks.
The throwing down on first or on
Bigger
the base, yeah.
Yes.
Let's throw it twice.
bases to allow more stolen bases.
The being able to go to the computer to see if that was a strike or not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what I love all that.
And they can't shift like they used to.
Yeah,
Correct.
the anti-shifting.
Two infielders on both sides.
Yeah.
One,
I mean, you can shift a little bit, but there's
Yeah.
regulations to it now.
Right. Yes. Which I agree. There's to an extent there should have been regulations.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, at that level, if they all shift to the left field, what you should be able at that level to knock it over to the right.
Yes. What I was just getting ready to say is the old school people will say
Yeah.
that you should learn how to hit to the opposite side of the field.
I mean, at that
Because-
level, even if when they do those shifts, it's not like you got to hit it hard over there.
Right.
You just got to get it over there.
now you take that plus the other rule that made a change a few years or 2 years ago. A relief pitcher has to face 3 batters or 50. So you used to have where they had a lefty
They come in
batter
for
coming
one.
up. They come up, lefty would pitch to lefty. You have a right-handed batter. Oh, well, we're going to take him out and bring. That slowed the game and drove the game, and I think Major League Baseball realized that, and fans were like, "Yes, they were for another pitching shift."
Baseball's a sport that got overtaken by analytics.
But
And it got to be too much. So they
That's
had to
it.
do something.
back to the bats. I don't want to watch 20 home runs in a game.
You want to see a 1-0 pitch for good.
I don't want to see that either.
I was gonna say you were the one that just complained not
I
too
don't
long
want
ago
to
that
see
you're
that shit. I
What
don't
do you
see.
what do you want to see?
I want to see small ball. I want to see players putting the bat on the ball. But on the other hand, I don't want it going out. I want them to have to play defense. If they're hitting home runs all the time, they're not having to play defense.
But what you saw in Major League Baseball in the last couple of years is that the pitching game has gotten so good
Yeah,
that I'm not surprised that they're letting this bat thing go.
that's why they lowered the mound. They gave the pitch count. They did the throwing down. You know, they should let those rules settle in before they change the bat.
Well, it wasn't Major League Baseball changing bat. It was a professor at MIT that came up with this bat for the Yankees.
Yep.
And you're gonna see it with everybody.
Oh,
soon. I mean, every team will probably start using the new torpedo bat. It'll be, but name another sport. Football. They always look for a way to maybe develop the helmet a little bit better.
Yep.
Protect them to
Always.
do things like that. So if you've got equipment involved in that game, why not? Why not
Yeah.
look for a way to make it better?
I went to a lot of baseball games back in the day when, it was the gentleman's game, like you didn't showboat, you didn't do any of that stuff. In the long games, like I got to go to a World Series, I got to see baseball.
Mhm.
But I like the new game.
Yeah.
I like the new game. I like a little bit of showboating. I don't like a lot. But if you're an emotional player, you should be able to show it.
I
Right.
liked last year. I watched more baseball last year than I have probably in the last 5 years.
Yes, baseball did a great thing by doing all of it.
Yes.
But everybody loves NFL football, right? I mean,
Yes, absolutely.
It is. But what happens when they score a touchdown? They showboat.
Yeah.
What happens when they get a sack? they shove them.
Yeah.
You know,
Why can't baseball players?
exactly.
And actually, it's dripping into golf too. Why can't golfers do it?
Yeah.
Like, it's starting to develop.
Because
the
it's a
golf
prissy
game.
sport.
No, but what they're doing is Liv has made them start to adapt,
Yeah.
and now you're
You
pressing-
cannot Happy Gilmore golf.
Well, I mean, you won't know anything about it, but the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
The Ryder Cup is what everyone goes for. You're
Yeah.
playing for your country, and those guys get into it.
They
waste
Roy-
man- the
Roy-
waste management.
the waste management.
like that's what people go for.
Rory McIlroy, which is right behind Tiger, the face of the PGA, very soft-spoken. Doesn't.
But he's
I think. And then you get to the Ryder Cup, and it's like, game on, motherfucker.
Well,
Yeah.
That's what it should be. I like that kind of stuff.
But also, it used to be a long, drawn out deal to go to a game. Like, it was a whole afternoon. It wasn't just, a couple hours and done. Like, you go to a game, you're there for 4 hours. You're there for 3. Well, whatever. Maybe.
These time-saving rules were awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the reason why I prefer college basketball to the NBA. You have 2 20-minute halves in college basketball. It's a quick game.
Yeah.
You get right to it.
Sure.
Where you watch an NBA game, you really don't start care until late in the third.
Yeah. And that's true because look at the games where somebody's come back from 40 points down.
No one cares till late third.
how much has the culture changed in America affected what baseball had to do to make people come back to it? It used to be, a dad would take his kids to the baseball games, they'd get there an hour early, they'd have a hot dog, they'd sit there 3 hours, and it was no big deal. But now, everybody wants things to bed.
Yep.
They want to quit.
Yep.
They want to go watch it. They want to be out. They want to go do something else.
Yes.
And the showboat. I mean, Greg, you're younger, so for you, that kind of stuff is what has started coming about lately.
Yeah.
When Jeff and I first started watching sports back in the day, you didn't see that.
No.
You did
Absolutely not.
see.
Act like you've been there.
And you
Exactly.
didn't show.
No,
You're like,
Barry Sanders scored a
Yep.
touchdown, handed the ball to the referee, went off to the sideline.
Yep.
Didn't do any kind of celebration. The first celebration I remember was Billy White Shoes Johnson from the Oilers. And he did his little dance.
Mine was Icky Woods.
This was back in
The
the
Yankee Shuffle.
70s when, yeah, the Yankee Shuffle.
Will you stand up and do that for us?
No.
Walter Payton was another one that did showboat. He would get the ball in the end zone,
Long
pick
way.
up. But now you expect it, and they are trying to come up with more and more ideas. I mean, look at the NFL when somebody scores a touchdown now. A lot of people watch this to see what the celebration is.
Yeah.
They want to see what they're going to do. Oh my God, they're going to do something different. You
You
know,
know, Terrell Owens took the guy in the trash can.
remember when he grabbed the popcorn and
Yeah.
and the Sharpie with the Sharpie
in the phone.
yeah, I mean, there was all sorts of things.
Ocho
that happened.
Cinco. I mean, he had some good ones too. I mean, that was a great era.
Yep. But I got the first year of the rule changes. I was lucky enough. I got to go to 5 different games, 5 different stadiums, all that stuff. But it was a completely different feel because, like, I got my food. I walked around the stadium a little bit to take in the stadium, sit down at my seat. Next thing you know, it's the 7th inning. You're like, oh wait, yeah, I need to start looking to get out of here soon. Because I got Uber in or whatever. So it's like it's just cool that you can go. And I think the last couple I went to, the average was like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Was what the average was. Which
And that's
is
a
great.
perfect time for a game.
Absolutely.
Not just for being there, but like watching it on TV. Convincing your wife that you got to watch this game. 2 hours, you get away with that. Some of those games 2 years ago were 3.5 hours long,
Right.
and then you're not doing your chores, you're not paying attention to her. You're picking the game over her.
What's the
Very
average
light.
time? What is the
Really
average
good
time
pick.
of an NFL game? 3 hours.
Yeah, right at 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's football.
I know, but
But
that's what I'm saying.
The thing is, it's,
Football is 3 hours long.
Yeah.
people get bored of long, drawn out football games too. They do. They let's be fair, especially the ones that end up in a tie, which I don't think should ever happen. But like people are like it seems like every year there's one of them games or something like
Yeah.
which is fine. But football was able to keep it condensed, for the most part. But when you got a sport like baseball that's not time driven, you have to figure out other ways to do that. Which, to me, the pitch clock was huge.
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 Yeah.
Huge.
And not only for like pitchers and hitters, but like for just the whole game
Viewership.
changed.
The
whole game changed.
yeah, strategy. Everything changed.
But the thing I love about baseball is you can still go to a game and afford to go to a game.
Yeah.
Even with your family, you can afford to go to a game. Football, you try to take 4 people to a football game. It's like, say teams of 6. You're probably 600, 700
Yeah.
in tickets.
You're 200 at least for tickets, just alone. Just
Yeah, I
for
mean, the
fees.
biggest part of that though too is there's 182 baseball games.
So there's that.
162. Sorry,
But
feels like the same.
but another reason why pro is so expensive for football is the pro stadiums are so small
They are small.
Yeah.
Yes.
compared to
Cost.
College.
Yes.
You're right.
and the seating's different though. I mean, you go to a Nebraska game, you're sitting on the goddamn bench. You know, you got this little white lines that show you your ass got to be this big. My ass is this big. It's just saying. But you go to the Kansas City Chiefs game, every game you have armchairs, you got back. I mean, you got a seat.
Yeah.
You got a seat.
Absolutely.
You're comfortable.
Yeah.
And the fact sweaty guy next to you can't invade in your space because this is yours.
Well, with that being said, last year, the LA Dodgers defeated the New York Yankees in the World Series.
This horse shit was cheating.
Who is your prediction, Brian, to win it all this year? Now, who do you see in the World Series right now?
I honestly think the Padres made some runs. The Padres have started out strong. The Dodgers started. I don't trust the Padres. As an organization, I just don't trust them. I think until somebody can prove themselves in the NL, I think the Dodgers have that division. And until I can see any different, I don't see that changing. They have the best lineup in baseball, probably. As far as the NL or the AL, sorry, Texas looks good. I think Texas has a chance to make another run to a World Series.
Nothing good comes out of Texas.
I'm not a Texas fan.
I knew that was coming.
I'm not a Texas fan.
I didn't say that. I said
But they
there's
look-
nothing good that comes out of Texas.
I
I don't care the sport. I don't care how you do it. It's not okay.
as much as I'd like to say my Red Sox, I just don't think they're there. Bregman's going to help a little bit, but I don't think.
How about Devers, baby? Let's go.
The baby face assassin.
Did you say Denver?
Devers.
Yeah,
Rafael Devers.
Yeah.
0 for 18 to start the year or something like that. 18 strikeouts.
Tampa,
Yeah.
Tampa's always in that mix. So, the Yankees are going to be tough to beat too. I honestly think there's a chance that it could be a repeat, but baseball's really hard. Extremely hard.
And we're so early in the season.
It's so early.
This is too early picks. Who you got?
I'm gonna
You got
go.
it.
I'm gonna go Texas.
Nothing good comes out of Texas.
Where are you from?
Nebraska.
Oh, okay. Where did you live for what?
That doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Come told me where to live.
Hey, where'd your stepdad come from?
Texas. That's why he's your stepdad.
What I will say, maybe San Diego gets across this time. They get to the World Series. So I'm gonna go Texas and San Diego.
2 bucks right there.
It's hard to pick against last year. Yankees added a crazy. I mean, Monsoto.
Juan Soto's gonna flop.
So bad.
He's not with the Yankees. Juan Soto was
He's the
the
Mets.
Mets.
He's at the Mets, but
I
he's gonna
said
flop.
Monsoto. I did say Monsoto.
You did
That
say
was
Monsoto.
me. That was me. That was the.
But Juan Soto is gonna flop. But it's okay.
Fine.
it's hard not to say a repeat of last year, Yankees and Dodgers. Dodgers are the best team in baseball, but it'd also be bad of me to not believe in my Royals.
That whole division looks terrible.
Well, right now,
Divisions.
But Kansas
But-
City didn't start off that great last year.
no, and they made a run.
It looked great
Yeah.
at the end of the year. Yeah, I was surprised by Kansas City last year.
I just don't think they have the power like other teams do, though. So I'm going to stick with Yankees. Dodgers as last year. It's hard to go against it.
Jeff,
Well, I think there's only one thing you need to know about baseball.
New York Mets.
The New York Yankees. They can't hit the ball because they're looking at the strikes.
Derek, who you got?
It doesn't matter who they play.
So
The Yankees are winning this year.
you're taking the Yankees to win.
Oh, they're winning.
Who they playing in the World Series?
You know, the Dodgers have the highest pay. They pay the best players come in. Money doesn't always win it, but they're going to start with Speedo bats. So, yeah, I go with the people last
Oh,
year.
and
Except a different outcome.
Shohei is pitching this year, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, so that's another thing that LA added. So
Yeah, they got him. They've got Yamamoto.
Yeah, the Japanese guy. He's good.
And then the rookie that came over from Japan.
Mhm.
I can't remember his name.
Yankees.
So the betting entry would say Yankees Dodgers World Series. You know, the Yankees are still loaded. You've got Judge, you've got Stanton, you've got Josh Chapman, got a great pitching staff, good closers. But I'm gonna go with a wild card early prediction of the Baltimore Orioles.
that's a great pick.
You've got Adley Rutschman. I think Gunner's out for a while.
And then you got Jackson Holiday.
Jackson Holiday coming back in.
His brother gave me number one pick
They
next year too.
did lose Corbin Burns in
Yeah.
free agency, but I still think they've got a shot at coming in.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take the Orioles as a dark horse to come in and play in the World Series this year. And out of the National League, there's two teams. One is the Mets. I think they made some really good offseason trades or offseason moves. You've got Pete Alonso still there. I know you said Soto's gonna flop. You still got Frankie Lindor.
Are you talking about an all New York World Series?
I took the Orioles as dark horse.
No better.
I'm just saying.
So you're picking the Mets on the other side?
It was close last year. So
Oh,
I was looking for a Subway Series
And
World
the Mets
Series.
were there. I mean, Frankie Lindor is a very good player.
Yeah. He's great.
And again, early on, the Brewers. They sent
That
Look
that
good.
made, that made my friend Pete very happy.
yeah, no.
And that's a awesome stadium by there. If you ever get a chance to go, it gives that old school feel. I know it gets a lot of bad rap, but go before you take that advice, in my opinion.
You know, you've got the Padres. They're there, but I think the Cincinnati Reds are this part.
That could be too.
I really think the Reds.
They've been coming
I'm
on.
not saying that they're gonna go to the World Series this year. They agree that Detroit Tiger gave the city royalty from last year. You
Yes.
see the Reds sitting up and doing something there.
The
Matt
Reds play gritty ball.
and Ellie De La Cruz is
That guy's a beast.
He's from
I'm on power speed, but you've got the same thing with Bobby Witt. You've got power speed. You know, that shortstop position has really come on. You've got Witt, you've got De La Cruz, you've got Gunnar Henderson. Another team that I didn't mention out of the National League that I think could make a run this year is the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah.
They are still loaded.
Can't stand Bryce Harper, but that's okay.
As a kid playing baseball, he was my
Two
favorite.
teams that could contend.
No, but they
Nebraska native. Alex Bone.
Okay. Let's suck up to it.
But Bo's not with them anymore, is he?
He's from Philly.
Yeah, we see it there.
He's still a third baseman.
Oh, Reese Hoskins is the one left.
Yeah.
I mean, Hoskins. Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, I'm not going to say that I'll sit there and watch baseball games all day long. I love listening to them on the radio. I've got Sirius XM app, and I can listen to any game.
I love listening to baseball while I'm doing other things.
Yes, I love listening to baseball on the radio. there is nothing better than Teddy Matthews on the radio on the Louisville Scoop. That's what I grew up listening to, and one of the reasons I really wanted to get into radio broadcasting because I just love listening to the guy, and he doesn't do as much as he used to. If you're listening to Royals games, just listen to the guy all the time. He's a classic.
Baseball has some of the most iconic elements been ripped to. Yeah. I lost his name right as I said it, but
Bob
Uecker that just passed. Like, it's sad when guys like that. You know, he was older, but he did it for years.
But given the
And he
announcement,
changed it.
you can't just say baseball has the iconics. I mean,
No, but they have.
because you got John Madden's, the Dick
Oh, yeah,
Vitale's,
yeah.
I mean, there's iconic voices.
Right, but it seems the list is so long.
Baseball's been going on a lot longer.
But your managers, your vitals are the guys who listen to them.
They are,
Yeah.
They're
You're right.
TV guys. Your radio.
but neither of them had a face for TV.
No.
I mean, those were
Yeah,
those spread.
You know.
You know, they weren't a Jim Rome or a McAfee. McAfee walks into a secret bar, he's doing all right.
Depends if it's straighter.
Hey, I do both pretty good at both.
But yeah,
You like McAfee? Yeah, I love that. See, you do really
Oh,
good.
yeah. I am just glad none of you said one word about that cheating, lying, disgusting team in the Major League Baseball era. That is in Houston.
They cheated,
Yes.
and they didn't get punished for it. It don't make no sense.
Do you guys even know any Houston Astros fans?
Oh, we do. We do.
Yeah.
You got to stuff with your wife.
No, it's helping my girlfriend.
And then this came out. They stepped in it all 9 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sheets.
nothing for sure coming out of Houston Astros.
I'm just saying, when I first met you, I had opinions.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You broke a lot of them. I mean,
That's
you
good.
broke a lot of them.
That's good.
There was a very strong, long influence on you, I could tell.
Strong and long.
The person the person strong.
We were
The
talking.
long is strong in this life.
We were talking about rule changes. How we got on this baseball
Yeah.
topic with all that. What do you guys think of the new NFL changes that happened on Monday, on April Fool's Day?
Yeah, what was
So-
that way to put all this out there?
Because no one knew if they're real. Because a lot of people this year
Yeah.
did April Fools. But
And you'll be happy they tabled the push.
not yet. Maybe.
Nah, that's still
It's
up-
in May.
that's still debate.
It's up for May.
But it's tabled as
It's tabled as a thing.
You know, and I heard a good scenario on it, and Ryan Clark was the guy that said it. So, guy that's played football, he's like, I hate the play, hate watching it, hate it as a football player, hate it. But until you can figure out how to stop it,
Here's the
you
deal.
know,
Here's the deal. This is why I don't have a problem with it staying. It doesn't create a health risk. I mean,
it
no,
can, but it's not.
it can, but
It's
not
not back surgery.
Well,
What do you think it's from?
But it's not. Is what?
Cam at the end of the year had back surgery.
Yeah, he was hurt during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, even during the playoff. How do you think his back got so messed up?
He
Yeah.
was hurt when he left Nebraska. He had back problems.
Yeah, but also
You're, as I say, you're telling me this push is not a health risk for that guy?
but
He was a
also,
health risk for Jason Kelsey the whole time.
but also look at it. Nobody's ran it as good as they have. There's been a bunch of people trying,
Yeah.
and even the Buffalo Bills have tried. Which
Well,
As
they
far
keep
as-
going to the left. They keep doing it and pushing. Then
What I'm
Josh Allen moves to the left instead of going after the foot.
what I'm
I don't get they're trying.
what I'm saying though is that Hurts, as strong as he, whether you like him or hate him, he's a strong guy. He's a gym rat. He's a gym rat. He's probably the strongest quarterback in the NFL. I don't think there's anybody close to him, honestly, besides Josh Allen. But Josh Allen's not as strong as he is, but
You know,
when you got a guy that squats 600 pounds, that's hard to stop.
Yeah.
they
You know, and
destroy.
then you
That
got
that's the day they ran the Fumblerooski.
yes,
You know, and the reason they quit the Fumblerooski is because the key to that was chop block. That's what made it so effective.
yes,
Chop blocking was bad for
yes,
both sides of the line
yes.
because it caused injuries and short careers. So that's why they made that
Elite.
elite.
Yeah, makes sense.
The tush push. If they can, I mean, like you said, but if that becomes a prominent issue that there are injuries
Then
directly related to that play,
Then there will be a change.
there has to be a change.
But at this
But at
point,
this
it's
point-
very little.
Because, like I
Because
said,
there's only some
like
one team theoretically. Is,
Well, like I
mean,
said,
Buffalo
Kid-
tried.
Cam had back injuries when he left the Braves.
Yeah. So
And Jason Kelsey, well, there's a reason he retired.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the tush push. It was because he was old. And there were things hurt.
Yeah.
and he's a small center already.
All right.
So
Hall of Famer, he had nothing to prove.
sure.
So 2 years from now, we may be looking at this issue completely different.
But the
The
thing
more
about
teams
it-
will start running into them too, the more
Right.
because there's only
So
some
we'll,
teams
we'll, we'll get a better grasp of it.
that's what's hard.
the
But
thing
like I
is,
said, it has to be a health reason to get rid of it.
even as a Philly fan, I don't like the play. Like
It's ugly.
it works,
It's
but like
wrong.
but that's the thing that's cool about they don't care how it looks. They
Well, it's kind of like a rugby play. It's a scrum.
It's a scrum.
That's a scrum.
But if they're not doing anything illegal, then why penalize them for it? Why try to take away something that's working just because you can't stop it?
Because despite we don't have the evidence that it's unhealthy, I think we all can see that there are people at risk.
Now, I'm gonna.
Kansas City, they threw that. Remember how they put Chris Jones sideways?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That didn't work out, and Chris Jones paid for that.
Yes.
He was hurting bad.
And at least Washington's the only one that did the push league stuff and trying to jump over several times. Like
Actually, you know what? Why is that Bush league?
because they were just stalling the game. That's all they
Yeah, but they timed it right.
no,
That was their only way of stopping. it. And they
Absolutely.
knew that.
but
They had to try to
at the
jump.
same
Absolutely. I disagree that that's Bush league. They were doing the only thing that we could even possibly slow that play down.
I just don't
And if they would have timed that right, it would have been a big
Okay.
play.
so
Yeah.
let's go to baseball.
Like
It's-
Clooney. Like Clooney. When he jumped over that center and got Michigan's running back. You know,
Yeah.
Clown didn't jump
Clown.
over anybody.
You know, he just got
Got a little guy out there and fucking the Tucson up in the back.
but it was timing.
Oh, yeah, it was all time.
It was all timing.
Yeah.
And that ball would have been hiked a half a blink
Yeah.
later.
No,
That's
I get-
these
I-
offsides.
I get it, but
Half a
they just
blink,
can't do it.
half a blink
Yeah.
earlier.
I'll throw this. Back in the day, you saw running backs dive over the top of the pile.
Yep.
Linebackers would try to time up, meet them up there, at the top of the pile,
Nope.
and knock them straight back.
Boy, those were exciting.
Yes, Walter Payton going over the top of an offensive line and diving.
That
over
was
the
beating
end
his
zone.
ass.
Oh, that was Christian Floyd.
Christian McCoy. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
McCoy.
But it used to be illegal to aid a ball carrier
Correct.
in any way.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't pull them, you
Push
couldn't
him.
push them, Reggie
They
Bush,
should just they could
Reggie
step
Bush
on you.
and Matt Liner. Almost that Notre Dame game that year where Liner snuck the ball in and Bush picked up, they called it the Bush play. And a lot of people said it was illegal. Now, in my opinion, when did we go away from that? Why is it able, and I see it all the time, and it's not just Philadelphia. There are other teams that you'll see offensive linemen pulling the ball carrier.
Yeah.
And aiding
Yeah.
them to get 3, 4, 5 extra yards,
Oh yeah.
pushing them. You know,
And I agree with you. I don't understand where that went away.
yeah, when did that rule change?
Because if that rule stayed in place, the tush push would happen.
Right. And should a team be allowed to assist the ball carrier? You know, maybe that's what the NFL needs to look at. do we allow them to assist the ball carriers anymore? You know, I mean, how many times have you seen an offensive lineman pull a guy?
Not very often.
Well, no, you do.
You do now.
Now
Well,
you do.
or I get what you're saying there, but
You see it more now. So, you know, that's the only thing I'm saying. That's the only thing I'm saying about the tush push or any of that. Why would it be as effective if those other guys behind were not allowed to push her? So what do you think, Brian?
It's hard saying because I've watched it. I've watched it a lot, obviously, because I watch their games all the time. But there's a lot of times that he's not really even pushed. He's just he's finding the hole where it is. But what I'm saying, everybody else has tried doing it. Obviously, everybody else has tried doing it. Why is it that they're so much better? What is it? Is it the offensive line? Because they have one of the best offensive lines in football.
They do.
But a lot of them are bigger guys, like Landon Dickerson. Like Cam's actually one of the smaller guys.
Yeah.
And it's all about getting low. That's the whole point of the play. And they've mastered it. They
And
just
you're right. Jalen is a strong kid. He's
No,
a strong-
absolutely.
You know, he's got strong upper body,
yes.
and that helps.
Because he's a running back.
And but do you think it's right that he gets the assist from the guys behind him? Because I know you say it doesn't happen all the time, but it
No, I agree. I agree with you.
And
I do agree with you. If that was a problem in the past, why did it get alleviated?
right,
Also, you weren't supposed to be assisted to jump over the line to block a kick. Like what's different? I do agree with you.
Yeah.
But the rules look at they all look at it and everybody's like, okay. So now if everybody keeps looking at it and says it's okay, what else is gonna develop? Possible. But at the same time, you gotta look at it as, do they get penalized for something that's working? And you can't stop it. You know, is it really fair to Philadelphia to ban it
but
when it's something they came up with and they're just better than everybody else at?
what I'm saying is, what's next? Are you going to put two defensive linemen in the backfield, and then when the push starts going, those two guys come up and pick their quarterback up and throw him over? I mean,
It
there's
could happen. No.
Yeah.
would go to that extreme because of the rules the way they are now. Because you've seen it in games, and where a lineman will start pulling his running back
Yep.
up the field.
Yeah.
You know, are they going to be able to pick them up and run with them? You know, I mean, I don't know. I think it's getting too far. I think the NFL should look at something in that.
I agree with you. As a fan, I don't want to watch it.
What changes were you talking about on April 1st?
Regular season, both teams get possession in overtime now,
I like that.
which I think all of us are unanimous with like that. The one that's going to be kind of 50-50 to wait to see is the chain game is almost just like a backup now. They're going to go to
Yeah,
video.
yeah.
It's all going to be digital view,
Which
none of
is
us know
good.
what that looks like yet. Which I agree probably should,
Mhm.
but
Because
it
the
depends
bad
on
calls we had last year, it was almost criminal. Some of those first downs and
right.
not first downs, and that you couldn't. I mean,
Yeah.
it was almost criminal.
Yeah.
Some of the shit we saw last year.
So that's the other big one, I guess. I think those are really the only two.
That was the two major.
The two major ones. There's some small stuff still in the panel, but
Well, they're going to the 35-yard line for touchdown.
the 35. Yeah, that was the third one. Yep, that they kick it out.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it goes 35 instead of 20.
Which depends on when you caught me. If you caught me early last year, I said this kickoff is stupid. I hope they go back to the normal one.
No,
But now that you're seeing it, I kind of like it.
I like it.
And I agree. Let's see more. Let's see more returns.
yep,
I-
I like it.
I think so. All should go do it.
I didn't think I'd like it, but like you said, after watching it all year,
Yeah,
I'm all in.
yeah. I'm all for them.
It creates more returns and less chance of getting hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, it got
You
both.
can only get so much hits.
Yeah, it got both. It got both things to happen.
Yep.
And I think college should follow suit.
Absolutely.
I think they will.
They will.
I think they will today.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
I should have a serious word. All right.
Well, we would love to thank each and every one of you. We'd like to thank Scott's Lawn Care for being one of our great sponsors, as well as right,
My move is that.
My Move Design.
My
All of the fancy stuff you see out in front of us, the tumblers, the coasters, our new sign out there, all made. My Move Design, check them out today. They can do anything you want, from t-shirts, to glasses, to coasters, to blow-up dolls for birthdays. And
ah,
sorry, Freddie.
touch my
Anyway.
ankle.
And Scott's Lawn Care, he services all of southeast Nebraska with great lawn care service, snow removal, which we hope we don't need for a while,
I think we're done.
and all of that. I hope so. I hope so. We are in the spring. We want to be able to get out and do some more things. But we would like to thank you all for tuning in. Next week, we will cover the national championship from March Madness. We'll talk about those Final Four games that happened. And we're going to implement our first top 10 list of the season. Gentlemen, our top 10 list, greatest NFL season by one team. So
Okay.
whoever you think have
Let's make it top 5.
top five.
Top 5.
Okay.
Top five.
Top 5.
Love the top.
We'll do
The
top
reason
five.
why is because I don't want to hear no honorable mention bullshit. I want straight 5. That means you got to cut somebody out of your top 5.
Okay. No
And
honorable
this-
mentions.
This
Yeah,
is
go
all
on.
the way back, so you can go as far back in the NFL if you want to.
Mhm.
And in fact, they have now allowed the AAFC into the NFL.
Oh my god,
Statistic,
that is stupid.
who's Paul Brown, though. But we
The
will
Browns are a championship team now.
we will bring that into play next week. So
You know what's sad about it though? It makes the Philadelphia Eagles stay more like 70 years instead of 50.
well, we'll break all that down. We may talk a little more Major League Baseball next week. If anything else big happens in there, please go on. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get our viewership up to as many as possible.
Make your spouse go out there and do it, even if they don't watch.
Yeah. Yep. I would like to say hi to Dave Party up at Wayne State. He was watching us here tonight, and he's got a few of his friends up there watching us, and I think they're all hopefully go on and subscribe with him
Thank you very much.
and watch that. And gentlemen, it has been a great show tonight.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great show. We hope you all enjoy your weekend. We hope you enjoy the Final Four of the National Championship game next Monday. We will be back next Thursday to talk to you all about that. Thank you again for tuning in. You've been watching Tailgate Talk, and
We know sports.